Hey, the Bracknell Bees will be starting the season with only one import, not two, because of Frankie Bakalick's suspensions from last year carrying over, and that is still a pain in the arse. So they've assembled a team. A player's had to leave, Karpov. He's had to go back to the Czech Republic for business and personal reasons. We replace him with Karl Richter, another Czech, a younger Czech, so he's a younger player. At short notice, he plays 2 games. He's then had to be released because of the import player ban. This all stems from Frankie Bakalick's 3 suspensions last year, and I will discuss them at a later date. But basically, he's spent a third of the season suspended for various silliness. The third suspension is a 50-50 whether it was a suspension or not, but the player was injured, and looking at his track record, it was probably a safe bet to give him a suspension because he tried to crush the guy. Even though it was a shoulder-to-shoulder hit along the boards, because of the force put behind it, the league felt it was deemable 18 games. Bearing in mind, the deliberate elbow to the head where he lined the player up was only worth 6, so a clean shoulder-to-shoulder hit that may or may not be possibly a little bit over the top in the force, you just treble the previous suspension. But because he still had 13 games left on that suspension, that meant Bracknell could not sign 2 imports, they could only sign 1, or if they did sign 2, one of them would have to sit out. Now, it's not very clear if you could rotate them, but it appears that Karl Richter obviously didn't want to sit out for the next 2 pre-season and then the first 4 regular season games. And it appears that Doug Shepherd wasn't willing to do that either, with a promising young player reducing his ice time or not giving him any at all, because I do believe that other import cannot train either. He can have no hockey-related activity for, well, 6 weeks. This gives 3 weeks for Bracknell to find a player. Yeah, the players available are probably not the players that Bracknell would want to have signed or would have scouted. That either means it's going to be an older import player or a very, very young import player. And that's a pain in the arse. The young ones aren't really proven, they've got something to prove, but they may not be the finished article, and the older ones may have some niggling injuries or may have to get called out of retirement and just lace up their boots one more time and their skates one more time and give it one more shift, and they may not be as effective as they would have been 5-10 years ago. But there we go, they've got to start with only one import. It is a pain. And it was only found out on Tuesday. Monday, Karl Richter leaves the team. It appears it's a bit of a shock. I wasn't expecting that. He played quite well over the weekend. He really put a shift in. Obviously, this has transpired on Monday morning. There's been a meeting between the league and the Bracknell Bees and the Bracknell Bees coaching setup. And it's transpired that this is what the rule is. This is the ruling. You have to live with it. The issue I have, it should have been done in May. I have no sympathy for Frankie Bakalick. I don't particularly like him. He's played for the team twice. He's been technically fired by the team twice, if you can call it that. He's not been had his contract renewed. He was let go the first time because he was a pain, and the second time he basically shot himself in the foot by basically spending half the season in the naughty corner. But there we go. A lot of hockey fans out there in British ice hockey don't like the Bracknell Bees, and that's fair enough. You just got to look at, it can be a bit of a punch fest down at the old John Nike between the teams. And at the same time, I may not always like certain teams or certain players, but I will say this. If this happened for any other team, I would feel sympathy for them, because when you're building a squad, you want to get it done before pre-season, not actually during the season. It's very difficult to insert a player when you've got a group of players together and just drop a player in. Doesn't matter if it's a month in, a few weeks in, halfway through. It's difficult because they've got to hit the ground running, and he's got to gel with those new teammates who've got to gel with him. But there we go. That's everything that I know. We only found out Tuesday. More and more has come out. The rule book has now been released. It's a very long, tedious read, but I've read the section. And to be fair, this should have been sorted out in May by both the league and the club. They should have sat down and worked out, okay, is this rule going to be carried on? Is it an experimental rule, etc., etc., etc.? But there we go. Swindon also fell afoul of a ruling involving players as well during the playoffs last year, which then cost them continuance into the next round, even though they actually won the games in question. So there's been a few, mistakes made by both the league and teams, but the league does need to be more clear in its rulings. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.